Hey y'all. I hope the council hope already messed up. To all decent beings in the multiverse universe, this place that's occurred. Okay, anyway. Um if you are a decent being, then I honor you for watching here on YouTube at Blooming Light at Blooming's Tribe. The title is an interesting one, and I want to share this because I'm a vlogger. Okay. I decided many years ago that if I was going to suffer, if I was going to be targeted, if I was going to be subjected to abuse, if I was going to be subjected to all of these things, no matter how much my efforts have been to become a better person, to learn, to evolve, to grow, and all those things, then I might as well speak of it because abuse thrives in secrecy. Abuse thrives in the person being isolated and feeling shame or feeling overwhelmed, like no one's going to believe it, so I might as well just leave it, you know. And this is why abusers thrive to begin with. This is why predators, panders, corruption thrives because most, in order to survive, they just take it. I decided if I'm going to take it, I'm going to speak about it and make everybody awaken. I'm just kidding. Anywho, the reason why the title says my atheist associate. Okay, I will not be providing any information. I won't be telling y'all. Okay, there's a level of discretion that I am trying to hold space for certain individuals. Okay, especially people that have honored me, no matter how imperfect they are. Okay, if they have honored me and been legit with me, then I'm trying to hold space, because not everybody wants to be made mention of, and some folks don't like all of that. Okay, so in the name of discretion for honorable behavior, okay, I'm gonna let that stay that way. Okay, but I want to share the experience because you know how when you're somebody who's dealt with abuse all your life, you were raised in an environment that made you feel like you had to perform for love. You had to perform for the basics, that abuse was normal, that you had to chase and beg for people to be, for them just to show up and care. Like this need to have you in some kind of a beggar, chaser energy for people to reciprocate care. So you end up attracting and dealing with a lot of individuals. You end up attracting that due to the energy. Folks who they want you to call them, they want you to, you know, keep texting them, they want you to keep following up with them. You've reached out to them and they didn't respond, and they want you to say, hey, did you get my message? They want you to, you know, either do that, or they want you to just wait and wait around for them, and you can see that they're communicating with other people in social media. You can see that their presence, because that's what social media is now, especially for people who are on it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if something is of urgency. And oftentimes it's individuals who profess to be Christians. And I know some of you all don't like that I say that, but the only reason why I share it is to teach a lesson regarding the assumptions and conditionings we have and how we associate certain characters wrongly. We have people that are Christians right now that are playing in my son's energy. Did you hear what I said? We have people that are professing, at least for one of their faces in the world, they're professing some kind of a high level calling, Christianity, or some kind of higher level spirituality. They're the ones in real time. Some of these individuals, as I go live, because they know I go live because they hoover and stalk me. So and social media. These are some of the very same people who are sending negative vibes and negative energies, thoughts, words, deeds, actions, rituals, and practices towards my son, my adult disabled son. Whether this is the MK Ultra operators, I really don't care if it's on a micro or a macro scale and everything in between. From the homeless witch to the witch that's in a palace. Okay? Now, but in front of you all, they're performing like they're these great and loving and caring and empathetic and philanthropic and evolved, woke, that they even care for his population. That's how they appear to some of you. Like they're even concerned, but they're the main players that's sending them negative energy. Yeah. Now, these will be the people that leave you hanging. These will be the people who say stuff like, "Oh, I gotta pray about it." You gotta pray to know. I reached out to an atheist associate, and I'm only sharing this again. I When I tell you who this person is, I'm not claiming that they're perfect. I don't know all that because we haven't been connected like that. I'm just trying to simply draw a connection, and I'm blowing some shit out of the water. I'm knocking some shit out of the park, and I'm gonna piss a few people off along the way, but that's okay. As I've been going through this ordeal, deciding to uproot me and my son due to the danger, even though it's almost like it felt like it put us in more danger because we didn't have stability. Okay. As I was going through this, I reached out. Okay, first and foremost, I accidentally ran into an old associate, but I reached out to that associate. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna put this on mute and I'm gonna do something real quick. They gonna feel it. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So now back to the topic at hand, because I am we are on our journey here, and we have a lot on our table for today, for our schedule today. And so I've been up for a little while here, and I've already started trying to get us prepared and doing all the things. So I just wanted to share this because it came to mind, and I wanted to use it as an opportunity to get the world to see the holes in our way of life, in our thinking, in our assumptions and presumptions. No matter what background we have, no matter what our spiritual, religious, or philosophical bents are or aren't. Okay. So I reached out to this atheist associate to get us a ride. Okay. This was, this is several weeks back. And they were responsive. They didn't respond immediately right away, but it was within a reasonable time stamp. So it was like hours later. It wasn't like 2 days later or anything like that. You see what I'm saying? They reached back out and said, hey, I want to say the very next morning. It was like the very next morning. I think I reached out to them that night, the night before, and they called me the next morning, or texted me, said call them the next morning. So I did. Something like that. My timing may be off, but it was something around those lines. And they made adjustments for me. They had a schedule. They had a plan. They had stuff that they were to attend to that was important to them. Okay. But they did have some freedoms. And so they made a workaround to try to get me to where I needed to go. They didn't say, hey, I can do this. I'm going to need you to give me $20 of gas. They didn't do any of that. They communicated and they executed action. Okay. Fast forward. I reached out to that same associate. They were responsive. See, it's not always about you getting what you want or people being available. It's energy, it's vibe. It's about how people show up. It's not always about whether or not they could, oblige you. I reached out to him last night. He reached back out. Last night, and he reached back out within hours. The person, and look, he has life. He's doing life. He's at a party. He's at a shindig, whatever. I'm going somewhere with this. He still, listen to me, because you're talking about first and foremost, maturation. Okay. He reached back out within hours. I didn't have to text and say, hey, did you get the message I just sent you? He reached he reached back out within hours. And this time he was not able to oblige. Did you follow? See, again, it's not always about, because if people's life and schedules don't permit, and it's not a situation where there could be wiggle room, or there's somewhere way on another side of or somewhere at the time that you're asking. See what I'm saying? Reasonable. And they expressed in reaching back out, guess what? A go figure. The non-God believer was actually able to express in their message concern for me. Mm, 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 mm. And then people wonder why folks go get on this path to deconstruct. If you keep having a pattern of all these different folks who are sharing the same so-called belief with different walks of life, different backgrounds, different areas, different churches, different denominations, different socioeconomic classes and statuses, if you're getting the same crap ass energy, it makes you start to question. If you're getting that same sometimey, two-facedy, gossipy, sadistic vibe, it makes you question. If my atheist associate, and the only reason why I'm saying associate is because we knew each other a long time ago, and everybody went on their separate ways, so we lost connection. Okay, I'm trying to become more mature on who I call friend, and I can't say that per se. Okay, we're not talking enough for that. We haven't, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that he was able to send me a message, the fact that he was able to be responsive, sincerely responsive, not that dry. So he was able to express authentic, sincere concern in his text. It wasn't dry, dead, and inauthentic. It wasn't, you know, oh, I'm sorry. I can't, blah, 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 blah. Because you can even tell with that. It was like, oh, hey, I'm over here, leaving a party. I won't be over in that area, but please keep me updated. That's somebody that's emotional maturation. That's maturity. That's responsiveness. These are the things that we take note of. Because it's not about talk. Somebody can get you on the phone talking about, oh, I'm touched. You're not touched. My my atheist associate didn't say, oh, let me go, let me intellectualize it to see if this is something that I feel like I should do in your situation. They know how to show up. This person, I'm not saying all of them are like that, okay? They know how to simply just be and to simply apply human kindness. Some is going to assume that this man may have romantic interest, and that's an assumption. It is. I might not be his cup of tea, and vice versa. See what I'm saying? That's in terms of romantic. It's an assumption. It's an assumption that he's acting like that because he's got some romantic. We ain't hooked up, so and he ain't trying to, and neither am I. Not like that. Because I already know how folks think. Yeah, I'm sure he was. You're a pretty girl. He's nearby, or he's, able to get to you. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he is going to be responsive. So as I said, it's real easy to talk about behavioral health. It's real easy to talk even about relationships. It's real easy to talk and have presentations and boards and bullets about interpersonal skills and vision board and catchphrases and cool sayings and quotes. It's another thing of applying it true to life. It's even real easy to talk about emotional maturation and all of those things. But it's another thing applying it or looking at it and experiencing it and embodying it in real time, true to life, outside of our comfort, outside of our circles, outside of our little families and groups and then things in which we get direct payoff for. It was simple. It was no guesswork. This is one of the reasons why in our, past experience together, I had a level of respect because there was no guesswork. There was no leaving me wondering and thinking. There was no having me chase and figure out. There was none of that. It was if I communicated, he communicated, and back and forth. If he communicated, I communicated. That's what a healthy friendship even looked like. That is what a healthy family dynamic looked like. That is normal, healthy. And the fascinating thing is I am not necessarily an atheist. He knows that. Just like I know that he is. He knows that I believe that there is either some kind of a universal source of life and things like that, and he doesn't believe that. But because he don't believe it, he is not my arch enemy. His behavior would determine if he was. You see that? His character would determine that, not what he don't claim, because he's already proven over time that apparently you don't have to be a believer in God to have a decent art. To have basic human kindness and consideration. Now, we need to make something of that. We do. Because then what of it is it with all these people who claim to be God believers then? That can't seem to have some human decency and kindness outside of their performances for one another. See, we don't want to talk about this kind of stuff. Anyway, I got to go because I got to finish attending to getting ready what me and my son got to do here. But isn't that fascinating? He took the guesswork. That's what I'm talking about. And I just want to say to you all out there, if you're a targeted individual, and even if you're not, if you're just somebody who is coming out of dealing with toxic relationship dynamics, if you have to text people to see if they got your text at some point, depending, within reason, if you are in especially if you're in urgency, if you're in an urgent situation and you talk to people, if you got to that is the sign. We have to start learning how the subtle energies, not what's coming out of people's mouth when we do talk to them. My atheist associate has over the years taught me, whether they know this or not, my experiences with them that I have had, okay, they've taught me a lot. They taught me a lot. They taught me that, first and foremost, people shouldn't assume that just because somebody say that they're atheists, that mean they're going to be this devil incarnate, toxic, abusive, you know what I'm saying, uncaring person, lacking character, lacking integrity. That's an assumption. And they also taught that sometimes they're they could very well be some of the kindest, or at least true or real. It's simple. I love simplicity. Oh, I love it. Even, listen, I do. And for me, it's not always about me getting my way. I just love simplicity. I love simplicity. I love sincerity. I love when people can just simply show up and communicate like an adult and not turn it into, they need to turn this into a sermon and have you on the phone for 4 hours before they can decide if they want to give you $5. And I'm just using that as an example, but because again, he didn't need to have a prayer meeting to give me a ride, bitch. Uh-oh. He didn't feel like my spirituality gonna mess up his atheism. Oh, see, I can see it coming now. Some teachings is being birthed. They're being birthed right now. I can see it. He didn't go into that because that's his stance. Okay. He didn't go. He didn't go and say, she, she's spiritual and shit. I heard she, talking about the source and, and crystals. I think I need to. I don't know if I should give her a ride. I don't know. It's gonna rub off on my atheism. I have to be ye separate. I have to separate thus thoueth myself from the ignorances of these tree huggers, bitch. You know what I'm saying? He did. And when I talk to him, because we have had conversations outside of that, it's the same thing. You don't get any of that weirdness. Now why? Why, you guys? We have to ask the questions. Why? What is that? He trying to sleep with you. Wrong. You're wrong. No, he's not. See what I'm saying? It's not like that. He want to. It's still an assumption. Somebody's gonna say, "Well, he want to." That's an assumption. See how we assume stuff? Just our nature. Why? Because I'm pretty. I may not be everybody's. We assume folks is everybody's. Oh, come on, man. I ain't for everybody, and vice versa. Might not even be his flavor. Huh? Come on. Some people can just be kind. Oh, it's such a foreign topic, such a foreign concept, is it, huh? So some people don't need to have a payoff necessarily. They don't need to have a deal like, if I do this, it's going to make me look good at my job, and this is going to really get me, this recognition and promotion. Or I don't even sense with him, how do you say it? Because I will admit this, often on spiritual journeys as well as the religious journeys, you'll run into a lot of folks where it's about that moral dessert. So it still lacks sincerity, if I'm making sense. It's more about, I'm supposed to do this, and I since I have a condition and a need to feel good about myself, out of that sense of obligation, because it needs to fit the image that I have of myself. It is not so much because I'm being fully embodied and present in the moment, and I'm just simply wanting to extend a kindness authentically and sincerely to someone. Without them praise and worshiping me, and they don't need to they, they don't need to, other than being common courtesy and mutual reciprocity. I don't need them to tell me 1,000 times how grateful they are because I gave them a ride.
Oh, there's that mess again. Oh, it's destroyed it.
It's time for us to look at these things. This is teaching us every day. I run into people who want to keep me on the phone for hours, and they turn out to be backstabbers. They want to keep me on the phone for hours. They want to ask 1,000 questions. They want to interrogate. They want to get information. They want to get intel. And I want to tell you something. The person that I'm referencing in this video has never done that. They've never done that in order to execute some kind of kindness or actions towards me. When I told this individual about the stuff that I've been going through, they didn't interrogate me either. They listened, and they was like, wow, that's crazy. They didn't go into, well, why you think, and rooty woo, and maybe, like, they didn't go into trying to troubleshoot if it's true or not. They didn't go into trying to get me to rethink anything. There was no assumption that I don't know what I'm talking about. There was no assumption that I'm just some stressed out, overstressed, overmaxed, middle age, undersexed. There was none of that.
Oh shit. This is getting me so much trouble.
And that is something I'm starting to honor more and have respect for. There was no games needing clarification after you didn't already given somebody a whole freaking essay or a whole 5-minute conversation. People have their motives for asking certain questions sometimes.
We're responsible. We are.
It was none of that with him. I have yet to experience that. Now, I don't know what the future holds in any exchanges we may or may not have, but I'm simply referencing what we have had. And then when I deal with Christians and people who profess, God-fearing, believing, Bible believing, their decency shuts off when they feel like you're different than them. They worry about people rubbing off on them, but they're being rubbed off on every day because they're becoming the monsters who colonize them. Bye.